Hello, my name is David M and I work for Kaspersky Lab. Today is Safer Internet Day, and it's very important that first of all you understand what the potential threat is online, but also some simple steps that you can take to keep yourself safe when you're engaged in online activity. So today potentially the internet can be a very unsafe place. The days when we had cyber vandals, in other words we had people writing viruses just for kicks, they're well gone now. For a few years now we've been faced with cyber criminals. These are people who write malicious software or malware in order to make money illegally. They write viruses, worms, trojans, rootkits, phishing, scams, any number of programs you may have heard about but not quite sure what they are. Well, the specific technical details aren't so important. What is important is that you understand what the potential threat is, because we're all going online more and more these days than we ever have before. So, what is it that cyber criminals are looking for? Well, they want money, and the way they do that is actually by capturing our personal information. So whenever we go to a website and we type in personal data, there's the potential for a cyber criminal to capture that information. What sort of information am I talking about? Well, first of all, it may be that you do your banking online now. And before you go onto the bank site and look at your financial transactions, you have to type in a password. If there's a malicious program installed on your computer, that malicious program can capture that password as you type it and send it to the hacker. It may be you use social networking sites like Facebook or MySpace or LinkedIn or any other activity like that to share information with people and to stay in touch with family and friends. The problem is every time you do that, you share information with people, there's a potential that the bad guys may get hold of that information and use it to build up a profile about you. And the more they know about you, the bigger the risk is that some of that confidential data can be used to access your online accounts. So anytime you do any activity online, there's a potential risk. Only, of course, if the malicious program is installed in the first place. So how do these guys install malicious programs on your machine or my machine? Well, they do it in a number of ways. It could be that you look at an email which has an attachment, let's say a document or a zip file or some sort of program attached to it. If you just blindly click on that program or open that document, it could be that a malicious program installs on your system, and from that point on, your machine is controlled by cyber criminals. It's very important to be very cautious with email, especially if it's come from somebody that you don't know. But of course it's not just an attachment that poses a threat to us. It could be that that email comes with a link, and when you click on the link, it doesn't take you to a legitimate website, it takes you to a fake website. And they try to encourage you to type in some personal information which they can then capture and use later to access your bank account or to access some other online account. It may be an instant message that comes with a link in it, or an attachment. It may be that you use Twitter, and the Twitter has a tweet has a link in it, and by clicking on the link, maybe you go to a website which contains some malicious program, and that installs automatically. Because it doesn't just have to be when you're on a social networking site or you look at an email or an instant message. It could be you're just a visitor to an ordinary, legitimate website. Well, how does that work? Well, the cyber criminals scour the internet looking for websites which contain security loopholes. And they use those loopholes to secrete their code somewhere on the website. They hide it on the website so it can't be seen. And when you go to a website or I go to a website, all we have to do is look at that web page and their code executes automatically. It then investigates our computer to see if we have any security loopholes, and they use those loopholes to install the software automatically, and again from that point on they control your system. So what can you do to stay safe online? Well, first of all, make sure you install security software on your system and make sure you keep it up to date. In addition to that, make sure your operating system is patched. Windows does this automatically for you, but if you're using some other sort of system, make sure you install the security patches, because that way you close up the loopholes which could be available to the cyber criminals. In addition to that, don't forget your other applications. They may not update themselves automatically, so it's very important that you keep the applications you use up to date to minimize your risk. Okay, what else can you do? Well, make sure you back up your data regularly, because if something happens on your system which damages the data, maybe the activity of a cyber criminal, it could just be that your computer has a problem. You don't want to lose data from that. So back it up regularly to a DVD or a CD, or back it up to a USB drive or a USB key. What else can you do? Well, going back to what I said earlier, be very, very cautious about the things you encounter on the internet. If you get an email from somebody you don't know, don't reply to it, don't click on a link, don't click on an attachment. Be very cautious. In addition to that, when you go on social networking sites, bear in mind that anything you share on your Facebook page, for example, could be accessed by somebody else if they're able to hack into the system, or indeed if somebody else's account that you know gets hacked. So just be a bit cautious about the information that you share with people online. In addition to that, make sure also that when you're socializing online or when you go to the bank's website, it's a secure transaction. Sounds complicated, but there are some simple things you can do just to verify that it's a secure communication, say, between you and the bank. In the lower right-hand corner of your web browser, look for the padlock symbol. That's an indication that communication between you and the bank is secure. Also, look at the address and make sure it says HTTPS, S for secure. So there are some simple steps then that you can take to keep safe. There are potential threats, but by following that simple advice, you can minimize the risk and make sure you don't become a victim of the cyber criminals. My name's David M. Today is Safer Internet Day. Make sure you stay safe whenever you go online.